10 psychological turn-ons that break an avoidance walls. Do you ever wonder what actually makes an avoidant partner fall deeply attracted to someone? Most people think it's about charm, persistence, or physical beauty. But if you've ever dealt with an avoidant, you know it's not that simple. In fact, constant attention, endless reassurance, or being overly available can actually push them away. Why? Because avoidants are wired differently. They don't crave what most people crave in love. They don't respond to the usual signs of attraction. What truly breaks through their walls, what secretly turns them on, are psychological triggers. These are subtle qualities and behaviors that go beyond the surface, that tap directly into their hidden fears and buried desires. And once you understand these, you'll see exactly why avoidance can go from distant and detached to intrigued, drawn in, and unable to stop thinking about you. So in this video, we're going to uncover 10 powerful psychological turn-ons that make avoidance lean in instead of running away. And I promise, some of these will surprise you. 1. Emotional independence. This one is huge. For an avoidant, nothing is more attractive than someone who doesn't need them to survive emotionally. Avoidants carry a deep fear of being smothered, of being engulfed in someone else's emotions. So when they meet someone who is stable on their own, someone with their own passions, their own balance, and their own emotional strength, it shocks them. It flips their expectations. Instead of feeling trapped, they suddenly feel safe. And here's the key. Emotional independence doesn't mean coldness. It doesn't mean acting distant or unavailable. It means you radiate an energy that says, "I want you, but I don't need you." That message cuts through their fear because it tells them they can be with you without losing themselves. And to an avoidant, that is magnetic. 2. Mystery and unpredictability. Avoidants live in their heads. They're constantly calculating, how close is too close? When should I pull back? What's my escape plan if this gets too intense? So when someone is predictable, always available, always transparent, it actually feeds into their fears. They feel like they've already figured you out, and once they feel that, their interest fades. But mystery keeps them hooked. When you're not always accessible, when your life is layered with unexpected stories, when you show depth they can't easily label, you intrigue them. You break their mental pattern. Suddenly, they're not in control of the narrative anymore. They can't put you neatly in a box. And that tension, wanting to figure you out but never fully being able to, is a spark that keeps them coming back. 3. Calm confidence in conflict. Avoidants hate emotional intensity. They fear blow-ups, desperation, and drama. So when conflict arises, they brace themselves. They're ready for shouting, pleading, or tears. But imagine their surprise when instead you remain calm, grounded, and collected. You don't beg, you don't panic, you don't chase. That calm confidence is magnetic to them because it tells them, "You're safe here. You won't drown in my emotions." And deep down, that's exactly what avoidants crave: safety in connection. Your composure doesn't just attract them, it heals them. It makes them feel like maybe, just maybe, love doesn't have to be chaos. 4. Strong boundaries. Many people believe that always saying yes, always being agreeable, and never rocking the boat makes them more lovable. But for an avoidant, it has the opposite effect. When someone has no boundaries, the avoidant doesn't feel cared for. They feel smothered. They feel disrespected. But when you set strong boundaries, when you can say no firmly but kindly, they notice. It tells them that you respect yourself, that you won't collapse into them, and that you value your own identity. To an avoidant, that strength is deeply attractive. Because boundaries aren't just rules, they're proof of self-respect. And respect is what makes an avoidant finally see you as a partner worth leaning into. 5. Emotional grounding. When they distance. This is critical. Avoidants often test relationships without even realizing it. They'll pull back, withdraw, or go silent. Not necessarily to hurt you, but because it's their survival instinct. What they're really watching is how you respond. If you chase after them, panic, or pressure them to come back, it confirms their fear. Closeness equals suffocation. But if you remain grounded, if you keep living your life, staying warm but not needy, it flips the script. Suddenly, you're not chasing them. Instead, they feel the pull to come closer to you. Your steadiness tells them, love with me is not a trap. And that realization is one of the deepest turn-ons an avoidant can ever feel. 6. Intellectual stimulation. Avoidants are thinkers. They overanalyze, rationalize, and intellectualize everything, including their emotions. So when they meet someone who can challenge their mind, who brings new perspectives, who surprises them with depth and knowledge, it excites them. Intellectual attraction feels safe for them. It doesn't demand immediate emotional vulnerability, but it keeps them engaged. And over time, those deep conversations become the very foundation that leads them into emotional intimacy. A partner who stimulates their mind becomes irresistible because it promises connection without immediate pressure. 7. Self-respect and selective availability. Here's something that will flip the way you think about attraction with avoidance. Being too available actually makes them lose interest. If you drop everything for them, if you cancel plans just to see them, if you center your world around them too quickly, it doesn't pull them closer. It pushes them away. But when you have your own life, your own standards, and your own priorities, they sense your value. They see that your time is precious. And when they realize they have to earn your energy, desire awakens inside them. This isn't about playing games. It's about living fully. And to an avoidant, nothing is more attractive than someone who feels rare and valuable. 8. Vulnerability without pressure. Avoidants fear vulnerability because it feels like surrender. It feels like losing control. But when you model healthy vulnerability, sharing your feelings in a strong, steady way without demanding that they fix you, it disarms them. They realize vulnerability doesn't have to equal chaos or control. It can mean trust. It can mean intimacy. When you're open without making them responsible for your emotions, you invite them into a new experience of closeness. And once they start to share back, that intimacy becomes one of the deepest bonds they'll ever form. 9. Playfulness and lightness. Avoidants carry a lot of hidden anxiety about relationships. They're always bracing for heaviness, expectations, and pressure. But when you bring laughter, playfulness, and light energy, you change the game. Suddenly, love feels fun. It feels easy. It feels safe. Jokes, teasing, and shared joy disarm their defenses faster than almost anything else. Because deep down, avoidants don't want love to feel like a battlefield. They want it to feel like freedom. And when you can give them that, they'll never forget you. 10. The ability to walk away with dignity. And finally, the most powerful turn-on of all. Avoidants only fully commit when they know they cannot take someone for granted. If they sense that no matter what they do, you'll always stay, they never feel the urgency to step up. But when you love them deeply and respect yourself enough to walk away with dignity if necessary, it awakens something powerful inside them. The fear of loss. That fear doesn't push them away, it pulls them closer, because they realize they've found someone rare, someone who loves without losing themselves, someone who will never abandon their own worth for the sake of clinging. And to an avoidant, that's the ultimate turn-on. So what do all of these psychological turn-ons have in common? They flip the script. Instead of triggering an avoidance fear of losing control, they create a sense of safety, respect, and admiration. They show the avoidant that love can be freedom, not a trap. When you embody these qualities, you don't just attract an avoidant, you help them transform. You show them that intimacy doesn't have to mean losing themselves. It can mean finally finding a connection they can trust. And once they experience that with you, their walls begin to crumble, their fears soften, and they start leaning in instead of running away. Because with you, love doesn't mean suffocation. With you, love means freedom.